If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am The Wiz, and I am here today to review the 1988 comedy Beetlejuice, starring Alec Baldwin, Geena Davis, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, Jeffrey Jones, and Michael Keaton, directed by Tim Burton. Yeah, this is another movie that I think everyone has pretty much seen that I have not, but since it is, you know, the spooky season, I'm like, okay, I think I gotta watch something that's more Halloween-like, so I chose this film because it's a comedy, and I have some familiarity with it, but the familiarity I have with it is I used to watch a Saturday morning cartoon based on Beetlejuice, and let me tell you something, maybe you already know this, but the Saturday morning cartoon is very different from the movie. Like, the cartoon, Lydia and Beetlejuice are friends? Like, okay. And after you see the movie, you kind of hear that and go, whoa, wait a minute, really? And it's not like I was a fan of the show. I think, honestly, I watched the show because it was the show before X-Men, the animated series, was on. And I loved the X-Men back then. I think that's what it was. It could be that, or it could be Animaniacs. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's really the only kind of reference I had to Beetlejuice. And let me tell you something, it made it more confusing. But anyway, let's get past that. Okay, so let's get into the review of Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton. I think I have to keep pointing out, I'm not a fan of Halloween. I'm not a fan of the macabre, scary stuff like that. Something about it I just don't like. However, I gotta say that I had a great time watching this movie. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a really creative movie, and I thought it was funny as hell too. And let me get to the first surprise of the film I have here. I didn't realize that Michael Keaton is barely in this movie. I mean, he's the title character, but he's in like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And I thought at first when I was watching this going, where's Michael Keaton? He's not here. Where is he? And it's really, the main characters are Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis, who play a couple who die suddenly and tragically, and then find themselves haunting their old house and trying to get rid of the people who are moving in. I think it's actually, and when I realized what the film was about, I was kind of disappointed because from what I know of Beetlejuice, it's like madcap craziness and constant humor, and that film really wasn't that, but I think it's still really good. I had a great time watching this film. It's hilarious. It's got some really, oh man. Okay, let's just get right into it. Let's go into direction. I think the direction of this film is outstanding. I think it actually is Tim Burton's best film. And the reason why is because it blends the comedy, the macabre, some drama, and some really good visuals. And I mean really good visuals are added into the film to give this film a distinctive and different feel than what I was expecting. Now, I was expecting some spookiness, but I was kind of surprised how where they would go in this movie. Like, there are scenes of blood and viscera and decapitations, and it's done comedically, sure, but it's dark enough for I would think someone who likes that stuff to be like find it funny, and I think it's light enough as well where people won't get like really offended or really disturbed by it. Like, it has that stuff, but it's not disturbing at all, which I was like, that actually is pretty well done. But what I will say when it comes to direction is I think the visual style of the film is outstanding. The contrast of how the town looks and the house is compared to the world of which Adam and Barbara are in is a very stark contrast, but it works really well, especially with the visual design of all the dead things and everything related to death in the movie. I will say, like, the thing that I really liked was the creativity they would use, not only in like the social work area, with the death social work area, but also in the model town. The film, at certain times of the film, there's a model town that the main character made of the town at which he lives in. Some of the stuff that happens in the film is made up that model town, and they did an outstanding job modeling not only that model town, but in order to do some of the scenes, because Beetlejuice pops up or Adam and Barbara are in that model town at certain points, it still has that distinctive visual feel of that model town. So when they're doing certain scenes in there, it looks like that model town, even though it's clearly a set. And it really works. And I thought it was really well done. But yet, in terms of tone, in terms of the visuals, the comedy, the macabre stuff, I think it was done really well. And I also like how this film is short. Like, I think if this film was 2 hours long, it would have outstayed its welcome. And I also think the fact that the title character of the film, Beetlejuice, is only there for a few minutes. But when he's there, it pops. It really puts the film into a much different perspective, and it does a lot of different things in that movie, which I thought was like really good. I have so much I want to say about this movie. It's so good on the direction, like really well done. Writing, I love the comedy of this movie. I like how the characters interact in this movie. I think the dialogue is very good. God, there is, again, so much about this film, writing-wise, that is really good. I think the writing might be the best part of this movie. I don't know whether Michael Keaton ad-libbed. He might not have. But Beetlejuice, when he pops up as this, like, obnoxious bio-exorcist, I thought that was a cute touch. It's just a hilarious time. But when he's not there, when the Maitlands are trying to spook the family there, that's also done very well. And it's done very creatively, too. The only issue that I really have is Lydia, and it's not a big issue. It's just like a minor issue. I thought they could have done a little more with that character, but, you know, it's fine. Like, it's not terrible, but I just think they could have gotten more as to why Lydia thinks the way she does. So let's get into performances. I think even though he's in it for like 10 minutes, I think Michael Keaton's the best part of this movie. Again, when I watched the film, I was surprised that he's barely in it, but from how much he has to do, how energetic, how loud, how obnoxious he has to be, I think the guy would have had a heart attack if he had to do it for like 2 hours. So I kind of understand that. But like, Michael Keaton is outstanding in this movie. I thought he's hilarious. The other actors are good. I particularly like Catherine O'Hara in this. I think her as the as the mother in this is very funny in certain scenes with how fake and how ruthless she can be. I think she's pretty funny in that. I think for the most part, I like the cast in this movie. I don't like Winona Ryder that much, though. Maybe not liking her is a little too much. I think she's fine, but I remember certain people really identifying with this character when I was younger. And I don't know if it was just the phase at the time, but I don't see as to what they could see in this character other than she's sad she had to move and she likes death. That to me was like, okay. But like the rest of the characters are well defined. They are really interesting. I think the couple in the film, Barbara and Adam, played by Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis, are actually really cute and charming. I actually like them in the film too. The performances are really good in Beetlejuice as well. So I'm not going to do spoilers, so why don't I get to my final thoughts on Beetlejuice. I think this is a hilarious film. It's a very creative film. I had a great time watching this, and I was surprised how much of a great time I was having. And even though some of the effects are dated to a certain extent, it really adds to the feel of the film. So even though it's not a film that is technically amazing to watch, when it comes to the feel of the film, it really works. I love the set design. I love the visuals of this film. I was really not expecting to enjoy the film as much as I did. I'm giving this 4 stars out of 5. I think this is a great movie, and I'm glad I saw it, especially around this time. So if you have not given Beetlejuice a chance, you probably have, I would say definitely give Beetlejuice a shot. I give it 4 stars out of 5. Definitely worth a watch if you are into it. Okay, so for next week, I am going to review films from this year. So I thought we would get into some of the films I think got good reviews or people talked about that they liked. And I'm going to start with something pretty light. I might do something heavier for Thursday. So I'm going to watch the 2023 film directed by Ben Affleck. And it's Air, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Chris Tucker, and Jason Bateman. I've heard good things about this movie, and I'm very familiar with the subject, which is the courting of Michael Jordan to become become part of Nike. So I've definitely been interested in watching this. I just not gotten around to it. So tune in next week where I'm going to review Air, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Chris Tucker, Jason Bateman, and Viola Davis, directed by Ben Affleck. I am The Wiz, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.